current resolution to amend and reenact Section 6 of Article 8 of the Constitution of North Dakota relating to the creation of a North Dakota University System Council of Regents and to provide an effective date.
Senator Poolman.
Mr. President, Senate Concurrent Resolution 4028 comes to the floor without committee recommendation. This measure would create a Council of Regents to oversee the administration of higher education. It essentially removes the Board of Higher Education as we know it and creates an 11-member council. Only 3 of those members are allowed to vote: the governor, the superintendent of public instruction, and the agriculture commissioner. The rest of the membership is appointed and non-voting. 2 are appointed by the governor, and 6 are appointed by the majority leaders in each legislative chamber, although it does not require that these appointees be legislators. It is important to note that although they are non-voting members, the legislative appointees have the majority of the representation under this structure. This council would appoint the chancellor. The chancellor would serve at the pleasure of the council. In turn, the chancellor would appoint and remove the president at each institution. The proponents of this bill believe this structure is needed to create accountability to the people of North Dakota. They believe it will strengthen the central office and give the chancellor the authority to balance the needs of both the students and the taxpayers. Opponents of the bill believe the current structure works and is necessary to maintain independence of the board and the university system. They argue that changes to the structure could risk allowing politics to drive policy and ultimately damage our institutions. The committee decided not to place a recommendation on the bill because many of our members believe changes to the governing structure of higher education are necessary, but this bill is not the right avenue for those changes. We do, however, appreciate the sponsor's desire to begin this discussion, and we hope it will continue throughout the session. Mr. President, with a vote of 4-2, your Senate Education Committee sends this bill to the floor without committee recommendation.
Any further discussion? Senator Miller.
Mr. President, wanted to talk a little bit about one issue, and that's politics getting into the higher education system, and why I think this particular measure is good at addressing that particular problem. And there are other ideas that float around that perhaps we should let the governor just run higher education. Why I think this is a neat alternative is, one, it puts higher education directly accountable to the people, but yet it separates somewhat from having that direct involvement of one particular personality. The governor isn't solely in control. The legislature has an opinion. Other statewide elected officials have an opinion. And I think it's important that we keep that spirit of separation. And this is still utilize that. We have the Industrial Commission. I think we all appreciate what that commission does. And this will act in a similar fashion. But it gives the legislature a direct avenue to speak our voice when we're talking about higher education matters and they're dealing in their day-to-day operations, as opposed to coming here to this body and meddling with their day-to-day operations. I think this is worth keeping alive and further refining, and I'd ask that you support this, and then we can put it on the ballot and send it to the people.
Further discussion? Hearing none, the question is on the final adoption of Senate Concurrent Resolution 4028. Will the Secretary please open the key? All senators have voted. Any senator wishing to change their vote? Secretary, close the key. Final tally on Senate Concurrent Resolution 4028 reveals 13 senators voting yea, 34 senators voting nay. The resolution is defeated. Continuing. Still on the 11th order, Senate Concurrent Resolution